Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. Last time we went to the moon, and nearly killed our pilot because we didn't have enough food to go all the way around, and that was with the Moho 4. Now we're going to reload the Moho 4 really quick and get some really loud music in here. Wow, okay. We're going to reload the Moho 4 here really quick. Now the Moho 4 was able to make it to the moon, do a few circularizations, and come back, and that was really nice. But as you can see, it's a very hefty rocket. It was built with outdated parts, and it's a little unstable, and because of those things we're going to do a little bit of modifications here on it. So we're going to end up making the Moho 6, or excuse me, the Moho 5, not 6. 6 is one too many there. Moho 5, so this is going to be the Moho 5, and the Moho 5 is going to take us to the moon. Now, we are not landing on the moon. It's super important that you guys know that. We are not landing on the moon. Landing on the moon is something that I really want to save for more than a single Kerbin. Having a single Kerbin land on the moon is kind of boring, you know. It's kind of bad for business, I guess you can say. Not sure how I want to do that, but we'll do it like that. It's kind of bad for business, and I say that because it's nice. The idea of landing on the moon is nice, and I'm sure we could pull it off. And we may even be able to take off and come back. We might even be able to do that, right? But it's no fun if you only take a single Kerbin, and that's what I've been doing. I've been taking single Kerbins to the moon and then bringing them home, and it's just like, what's the point of doing that? What's the point of doing that when we can take multiple Kerbins and then bring them home? And that is what I think we're going to work on. We're going to work on that. Now we did unlock a few awesome parts. Those awesome parts, of course, being things like fuel lines. Again, the other ship, the Moho 4, was made out of older parts, didn't have fuel lines, didn't have a lot of things, and so it was made specifically to kind of just torchlight its way up there, I guess you could say. It was made like a candle. They burn like a candle, which is to burn from one end to the other. So if we can make it a little bit better with fuel lines and an asparagus system, we will have a lot more thrust and a lot more power and a lot more ability to get to the moon, hang out there for a little while, and come back. Now this should be, liquid fuel and oxidizer, perfect, even more fuel. And it makes our rocket look pretty, look at that. Alright, now we have some struts we want to put on here. Just really super quick, like so. Nothing really, you know, magical about this. Just a few struts to make sure our magical little ship here does not fly apart on the way up. Now, it still says we have that 8,000 unit of fuel thing, and it's going to say that until we fix a couple of things, including making sure all of our little rocket parts are in the right location. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Do that. And then do this, and that should be right. That should be correct. I don't know. Let's find out. That's those two, okay. These two should be the front and back ones, is that right? Yep. Okay, and that's these two, so it's going to be these two first, then these two, and then the last two. And this rocket needs to go down here, and then that rocket should be the very tippy top rocket. It is. Excellent. So that still only gives us 8,000. That's not right. What went wrong? What went wrong? Oh, okay, that's what went wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and switch that around, and that should be 8,922, really? So it looks like it really didn't give us much of a boost in power from our initial stage. That's kind of upsetting. I was hoping for a real kick in the teeth, but apparently no kick in the teeth on this one. But before we do anything else, before I forget to do anything else, before bad things come from forgetting anything else, we need to add food. That's too small. Wait, how many days is that? 10 days? 10 days would be enough, but it's teeny tiny foods. There's a larger one, or the cylindrical. Hard to say that word. There's a little guy here. That's a much bigger one. This guy is 10 days as well. If we were to put him like right here, he would probably cause a lot of havoc with the landing. So we will go with, I know it's, well, you know what? We can do it like this. I keep forgetting that tweakables is a wonderful thing. If we put this like this, even though it's 80 days and takes a lot of stuff out of a rocket, what we can do is we can knock this down to like, say, 16 days, just as a nice big round number. There we go, 88 by 18. So we get the size of the container, but we lowered the amount of food it contains, so that makes it a little bit better. I am a bit upset about the fact that we can't asparagus this up the way I wanted. There is a chance that we could probably do it if we dump these upper tanks here, but we'd have to rebuild the whole asparagus system. And I kind of want to go into a polar orbit on the moon so we can do some more orbital mechanic stuff. I think this will work. If nothing else, we know it'll get us to the moon. We know it'll get us to the moon. It's a slightly better version of the one from before. We can finally put launch clamps on this thing. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and launch this little guy. We're going to go back to the moon. It's just going to be a quick flyby. Just going to be a quick flyby. And who's our pilot going to be? Oh, who knows? Who knows? Not Dookie. Sorry, Dookie, not today, buddy. Gotta choose somebody else. Random is Doom. Oh, that's nice. Now, I'm pretty sure Doom has not gone with us before. Have you, Doom? Doom, have you flown before, friend? I know, it's only been like 3 flights. Ah, Doom has not flown. So, because Doom has not flown, Doom is going to be our pilot. So, Doom-de-doom, doom-de-doom, doom. Alright, so Doom's going to fly to the moon. He's just going to do a couple of orbits. I'm going to skip the launch unless something bad happens. That way we just get to the moon, we get the science done, and then we can go back with more stuff or do something better. Because, you know, repeating what we did last time is just not fun. Not fun. So I'm going to skip all the boring bits, and then as soon as we get to the moon, we're going to do some science around the moon. Absolutely. And hopefully everything's going to work out. So I will see you guys around the moon. Alright everybody, we have arrived at the moon. We are 11 kilometers, 11 by 11 on each side, 11 kilometers off the surface. Look at that. Doom could not be happier, I'm sure. We got really super lucky coming out here. It was great. We can't see it, I don't think. Kerbin, yes, Kerbin will be on the other side of the moon, unfortunately. But we got really lucky coming out here because we took off at just the right time where our burn to get to orbit was exactly the same place where we would need to burn to get to the moon. So I just said, let's do this, and we kept the throttle burning. And Doom did a perfect burn all the way out here. Now, what's different about this particular run, of course, is that we are not in an equatorial orbit. We are in a polar orbit around the moon. So what Doom's going to do is he's going to fly around the moon a few times, say 5-6 times or so. We're going to get as much EVA science as we can out of this thing before we go back, and that way we can get a huge bundle of science, hopefully unlock some of those wonderful things that we need to get ourselves back to the surface, you know, back here with multiple people. But of course that's going to be rather dull. But I did want to say that, you know, we're here. I wanted to show you guys Doom getting out because he's going to EVA. Now with our luck, we probably already have all the EVA data from this location, but it's always good to check. So yeah, we are above the moon's midlands, and that's going to be a thing. We're going to be above the moon's midlands for a while, but I do see a crater coming up, so as well, we can always check on the crater. I don't know if this is part of it, or if this whole basin here is part of it, but we'll see. We're going to come around, so we're going to have Doom do his EVA thing. He's going to fly around the moon. We're going to get a material base sample as well as at least 1 goo container. Probably can't get 2. We have a ton of fuel left. We have a ton of this tank is empty, but this tank is full, like straight full. And then we have this little guy here. We have so much fuel we could almost maybe even land this guy. The downside is, of course, if we attempt to land and we break off our engine, then we have 17 days to save Doom, and I am not I am not prepared to attempt to save Doom right now. I know some of you would be like, oh, that'd be so awesome, and it would, but it'd be scary too. And we don't want Doom to die, you know, even on accident or on purposefully. We don't want him to die. That's a really odd formation there. Like, all this is gray and flat and empty, and then you have this scratching in the wall there, like someone tried to write something in the wall of the impact crater. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we're heading over the Midlands. So it looks like this crater is either part of the Midlands or just a crater on its own, and we were too far to one side. So yeah, we just crossed over the North Pole. We'll be heading towards the South Pole of the Moon. Again, we're going to do our science. I guess we could take a look and see if we got any science left here. I know we did some science last time, but it's hard to remember exactly what science you do without checking. So go ahead and get inside. We'll do a little bit of science before we roll around. Let's go ahead and observe our mystery goo, which gives us, hey, 30 science. The goo feels right at home here. Good. So we'll keep that data. And then we will check a materials bay. And of course we're near the moon. Ooh, 75 science. The high radiation environment causes a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Indeed. So yes, science near the moon, kids. Science near the moon. Always get science near the moon if you can. Of course, we can only get 1 goo canister per flight. I always put 2 goo canisters on the ship, but we can only get 1 per flight, which is really upsetting. But since we're here and we're close to the ship, what we're going to do is we're going to have Doom grab hold. There it is. We're going to grab hold of that data. Yes, we know it will make it unfunctional, non-functional, refunctional. We're going to grab that data as well. And now we only have 1 goo canister, but that right there is over 100 science. That is over 100 science. That is one That is 190 level of science without doing anything except doing a couple of goo scans. That's it. And that is awesome. Materials Bay, goo scans. Alright, so for the EVA part will be extremely boring because it's a whole lot of wait and hurry up. I know you guys really love all the boring stuff. I know because you guys are like, show us the map screen. But this is really boring, and I don't think you guys want to see me going in and out and in and out and in and out of the cockpit while I check to see where we are over the moon. So I will get as much EVA science as we can, and then I will catch you guys back here when we're ready to head home, and then we'll move on to the next mission, because I want to get more than one mission squeezed in here. So I'll go ahead and cut here, and I'll see you guys when we're on our way home, and Doom is safe. Oh yes, so safe. Alright everyone, we have collected enough science, or at least enough science that I'm kind of tired of looping around the moon. We barely even used any time at all. We used about half a day's worth of material there. You know, when we came here last time, we almost killed our Kerbal with the amount of time it took to get back. I mean, it was just like almost dead by the time we hit the water. And then we come out here and it barely takes us a day to get all the science that we need. However, it will take us about a day to get back, so we're covered. We're covered. We really only need about 2 days worth of stuff to get to the moon and back, and that's not really a problem. It's always good to take more, just in case. So we're going to start our burn, and it is going to take place on the dark side of the moon, because our burn has to put us in Kerbin orbit, and then from there we have to burn down to a lower orbit, which is going to be super duper fun, and we're late. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It never has to be perfect when you're burning home. Because all you have to do is strike the atmosphere, right? Just hit the atmosphere, you come down, everything's fine, right? That's the way it's supposed to roll. One would hope. So we're going to go ahead and bring ourselves down into the atmosphere. Well, this won't bring us into the atmosphere, of course. Now, we do have one goo canister remaining, which I would like to get science for. We can get a little bit of science for it, I believe, either high above the moon or high above Kerbin. I'm not entirely sure which. But let's just go ahead and bring ourselves back around. And we want to make sure that our solar panel is pointed roughly towards the sun, which it is not. So let's go ahead and roll the ship slightly. There we go. Alright, we'll check our goo canister, because I like to get all the mystery goo we can. Downside is, as you can see, there's really not much science left high over the moon. I mean, 6.9 science, that's a little bit of science. I got that, I'm okay with that. But it's still going to be a bit. So yeah, it looks like it's going to take us about a day. Let's go ahead and get our Kerbal engineer up here so we can see what we're doing. It's going to take about a day before we even get to our burn point. So it's pretty good we brought our stuff out here. It's pretty good we brought that extra food. I mean, 16 days worth of food allows for a little bit of leeway when it comes to death and violence, or at least when it comes to like rocket ships blowing up. Whenever I was going behind the moon to the dark side because we were so low, we were only at 11 kilometers, I kept feeling like we were going to whack a mountain. Like, to hit a mountain is like, I'm going to break off an engine, or I'm going to shear off that parachute, or something bad's going to happen, is what I kept thinking to myself. But no, it turned out okay. We never hit anything. That doesn't mean we didn't come close. You know, it's really hard to see things back there, but really, why is the node so out there? We were doing 100 times speed, and the node's just like drifting. That's really odd. Oh well, we're still within the moon's gravity, which I think is why. As soon as we break orbit, we should be fine. That can't be right, can it? Can it? Something weird's going down. No, we got enough. We have enough food, water, and oxygen. I am not too concerned. We just have to get ourselves above the moon, away from the moon, as quickly as possible. It really isn't. What is going on here? Release us, dear moon. Release us. We must go forth into the darkness, or the light, or something. I don't think the moon let us go. I don't think the moon let us go, did it? No, it did. Oh, okay, we're right there. We're right there. Okay, I'm getting really paranoid because the moon just didn't feel like... There you go. Okay, now it finally let us go. Yeah, we missed our mark by a lot. Okay, well, that's fine. Because we can just do it from here then. We don't have to do it from any particular position. Yeah, that's why we kept saying like 3 days. We need orbital. There it is. Okay, so we're back on the dark side of Kerbin. Nice big bright city lights. I wonder if that's Kerbopolis down there. Kerbopolis, turn the rocket, please. Turn the rocket so we can go. All right. So we're at 9 million by a whole lot of billions and billions and billions. So we're going to slow ourselves down. We're going to bring ourselves down to about 32 kilometers. Nothing spectacular, about 32 kilometers. Because that's how I like to come in. Because you can come in from Minmus at 32 kilometers and never worry about burning up. And I like that about Kerbin. You can come in pretty fast and pretty low I never have to worry about burning up. And look at all this fuel we have to waste. Look at all this fuel. It's terrible. Terrible fuel wasting. But better to over-engineer than under-engineer. Isn't that how it works? 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers. Quick save for safety. Let's check our goo canister really quick. We don't have any lights on here, unfortunately. I forgot to put lights on. 2.3 science high over Kerbin. Oh, well, we could have done better over the moon. Alright, we'll wait until we're lower over Kerbin. So come on, let's go back home really quick. And there's the sun. And how's our solar panel? It's tilted close enough. Alright, so we're going to come down. Here we go. Oh, not too fast. Not too fast. Oh, look at Kerbin. So pretty. So pretty with all those lights that I still haven't deleted. I keep meaning to. I keep saying, I'm going to delete those lights because I don't like them. And then I don't. And then they're pretty. They're only not pretty when you're near them. You know, when you're down near the ground. You can see that there's no city. Alright, we're still high over Kerbin. And 6.9 science would have been so much better. But that's okay. That's okay. We can go back to the moon. We're going back to the moon again. We can take a goo canister with us back to the moon and like get some goo out of it while we pass over. That's right. Right. Alright. Here we come. Alright, coming down. 40, 30, 20, 100. Okay, that should be close enough to be considered close to the surface, right? So before we crash horribly into the surface, let's observe our goo canister and get 2.3 science. Fair enough. We'll keep that data. Now, we can't keep that data and keep that data. So what we have to do is Doom has to very quickly get out. Let go and EVA up. Okay, very quickly. He's going to EVA up. He's having trouble with it. That's fine. All right. Now, very quickly, I need you to go over here. Okay, we're at 60 kilometers. That's not good. Is that the right goo canister? Yes, it is. Collect. Remove. Go back this way. Okay, we're at 60 kilometers. About to hit atmosphere. Grab hold. And climb back inside. Alright, good guy. He's such a good guy. Now, we have a lot of fuel left in this little guy, so I think what we'll do is we will do a free cam, please. There you go. We will do a free cam, and we will flip our ship around. We're going to need to anyway. We will flip our ship around, and we're going to slow our descent speed, because we are moving way too fast for safety purposes. Let's go ahead and throttle up, and just burn off the rest of this fuel. Slow ourselves down, bring ourselves in a little bit nicer, a little bit more gently. A little bit more coolly, I guess you can say. I was going to say a little bit more warmly, except that you really can't be gentle and warm, or like, you don't want to be warm. You want to be cold. You want to cool off these engines. We don't want to hit that atmosphere at massive speeds and just burn up. Alright, so there you go. There's that. Now we're at 2300. That's orbital speeds. So we're pretty safe on those speeds. So we can still bring it down. We're about to lose our last bit of fuel, and the other reason for this is because we can dump all this into the atmosphere. Now, what's really great about that is okay, so that's going to fall down in the atmosphere. Are we heating up? Oh, we are heating up. Okay, kill the throttle and then do that. Kill the SAS and let us roll into the spin there a little bit. All right, so there they go. Bye-bye, little guy. So pretty doing that. Yeah, because of this burn, the way this burn worked, we ditched all 6 stages on the way up. I know that was off camera, but we ditched all 6 stages on the way up, and then we were able to go to the moon, come back, and then drop the last 2 stages right here back on Kerbin. So this was a completely wasteless rocket. Well, at least wasteless in the fact that when we got to the moon and then got back here, we hadn't left anything in orbit. So no Kessler syndrome this time, at least for the moment. All right, come on down, Doom. We're gonna get lots of science, right, buddy? He says, yeah. Oh, that was very gentle. That was very nice. He's very happy. Doom has been very, very cautious, very kind with the whole flight thing. He hasn't been screaming or crying or anything. Sometimes he would get a little bit nervous when everything was loading after a time jump. But I would get nervous then too because things kind of hiccup a little bit as everything loads and he gets ugh. Alright, come on down, little buddy. Oh, see, now he's getting nervous. Now he's getting nervous. Come on, Doom. I was just saying how you were doing so good and you weren't nervous or anything, and now you're all like, oh, what's going on? Going on is we're landing gently into the ocean. So you're gonna like it. He doesn't like it. So let's go ahead and head down. Yeah, I guess we can just open our parachute. Why not? Why not? Why is the rocket acting? Why is it acting so weird? We're coming. it's like its horizontal speed is just up. You know, vertical speed, whatever. Horizontal speed is just up there. He's still flying sideways. I have no idea. He even opened the parachute and he's still flying sideways. And that's not just the clouds doing that either. You know, I said the clouds always look like they're moving makes it look like you're moving when you're not. You look at the ground and he's tilted sideways, and the velocity indicator says that he's moving sideways. So that makes very little sense. What's wrong with you, Doom? Doom's like, I don't know, man. Everything was fine, and then you started pushing buttons, and then bits of my rocket fell off, and now I'm falling into the ocean, and oh god. I think we'll have Doom grab a little bit of ocean science while we're here, because unfortunately we couldn't grab ocean science last time because we had no fuel, food, water, and oxygen left. We were out of it. That was it. We were done. All right, just a gentle fast forward, nothing too fast, because that parachute can rip off at 3 times speed or 4 times speed. 3 times speed, not so much. 2 times speed, even better. But 4 times speed, that parachute can just go whoop and disappear randomly. But the game does warn you of that. You know, it does tell you physical time acceleration can cause unexpected and undesired results, and we always skip that message and say, don't show me that again, I don't care. Except secretly, deep inside, we do, because we don't want our Kerbals dead, do we? Alright, here you go, Doom. And sploosh. And now you're upside down. Why, Doom? Why you gotta do this to me, buddy? It's probably because of Kerbal Engineer, you know? Alright, crew report from the water. Hey, here we go. You record your crew's assessment of the situation, and we'll keep that. I'd like to get out, but I don't know if he'll be able to get back in because the pod is acting really weird. If we turn on our SAS unit, will that keep us pretty safe? Okay, I need you to very gently EVA. Now, that should stay on no matter what. Alright, so we're going to EVA here. And this is the most precarious situation, so we're flying above Kerbin's waters, quote-unquote. We can't get a surface sample, I don't believe, unless we can from here. We need a surface sample. Here we go. You scoop up a sample of the surface. It's a very humid sample. You hope the equipment has been properly waterproofed. Oh, indeed. Indeed. Keep data. And we will grab that and we will store that. Now, we can jump into the water and get a second sample, but we're not going to do that because if you're standing on something, it's considered landed on the water, and then if you're standing in the water, it's considered splashed on the water. It's a really interesting little thing that you can do, but we're not going to do that because I don't want it to where he can't get back inside. So now we're going to go ahead and recover Doom, and when we recover Doom, we're going to see what kind of science he has for us. Oh yes. Alright, 270.6 science earned. That gives us 301 science, all that from one trip to the moon. Can you believe that? 301 science, all that from a trip to the moon. With lots of EVA reports, tons and tons and tons of EVA reports. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got down here. And what we have is we need absolutely... Now these are level 90. And we are absolutely going to buy the space station. Now I remember I told you guys I was going to cut this up into different sections, but it's too much work, and I honestly don't... It's not that I don't care, it's like, it's just, if the mod developer doesn't take the time to cut them up and put the pieces where they're supposed to be, or they think that they're supposed to be in one section of the game, who am I to argue? So we will go with that. Let's take a look around first, though, before we go ahead and jump onto that bandwagon, and let's take a look at what else we can get out of this. Looks like we can get some bigger pieces, some bigger chunks, some turbojet engines and things like that, which are really interesting. But nothing else. This also has some science in it, including a mobile processing lab and our thermometer, and we're going to need more science, so we have to kind of go this way. So we're going to grab that, which gives us access to a couple more science things. Now that's 160 science. I would love to... 3-man command pod. The Mark 1-2 command pod gives us 3-man command pods. The downside is that is not where the 3-man lander can is at. No, it is not. But we do have the Stratus 5 cylindrified monopropellant tank. Not helpful. Place anywhere linear RCS ports, parachutes, heat shields and decouplers. We're going to need those big tanks. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a 3-man lander with a lander can. We may be able to do a 3-man lander with the Mark 1-2 command pod. That'd be very classic, so we'll grab that. Now we're down to 51 science. Yeah, here's the cupola module and the Mark II lander can. That's really upsetting that the Mark II lander can is 300, because that means we're going to have to land on the moon with either a single Kerbin or with a squad of 3 Kerbin. We don't have any other parts and pieces we can use. Some 160 science for these. You know what? We may have to forego landing on the moon and instead do a little bit more sciencing in orbit, because I do know that some of these science labs and things like that can acquire science in orbit. So let's go ahead and head back to the VAB, put something together, and we'll see what we can get into orbit for a nice start to a space infrastructure in orbit around Kerbin, because you explore the moon, and then you got to put things in orbit so we can do remote tech and we can do all that jazz, and we will do that and get that started. So let's head over to the VAB and check that out. Alright everybody, here we are back in the VAB. Now I do not know if we have the power that we need to get what we need into orbit. I don't know. I wish I did. But I do not know. So, in order to figure it out, we at least have to start with our initial build. And our initial build is always going to be the same few parts until we can come up with some better ones. So we're just going to go ahead and do a couple of these, just like that. And 2 batteries, sure, why not? And then we need a engineer. That's right, we need an engineer. Without an engineer, you can't see what you do. Okay, so we have a Kerbal engineer. There we go. So that's our return vessel, of course. Now underneath the return vessel, we're going to put some very interesting devices. We're going to go ahead and put this little guy, bloop, like that. Now underneath that, what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple of other things which should be available right here. Is this one the right size? It's too small. Bigger one? Well, really? Okay, so it looks like this one then. Odd considering its size, but okay. So yeah, this is what we're going to put together. Now, docking ports aren't technically supposed to be available yet. Neither are a few of the other parts in here. That was one of the reasons I kind of wanted to shuttle them around to the different areas of the ship, or these different areas of the there's a word there that I'm seeking, and it's escaping me at the moment. Put them in different areas of the oh, that's really nice. Of the, I'll figure it out. Give me a second. I got it. It's in there. Tech tree. There it is. See? Figured it out. Yeah, I wanted to put them in different areas of the tech tree, but the problem is we couldn't, because to do so would cause massive amounts of headache, and that is unfortunate, because these things, although unlocked and totally awesome, are unfortunately not, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's compatible, are not really something they're supposed to have this early on. I mean, we have a lot of like, we have these big solar panels, these advanced solar arrays, we have habitat and science modules, we have all sorts of stuff that we're not really supposed to have so soon, in my opinion, on the tech tree, but I don't really have the time, not really the time, I really don't have the patience, I think, to go through and move these where I think they need to go. Because I would have to do it manually, or use a tree edit or something, and both of those things just don't seem like fun to me. So, what we're going to do is we're going to move the habitat module. That's what this is. This is just a regular old-fashioned habitat module. Fits like 5 Kerbals, I think. Yes, crew capacity is 5 Kerbals. We're going to send that up first. And then we may send up a docking station module. I'm almost determined to put up a docking station module first, like do a habitat module like so, and just stick them together and not let them separate. And then down here put an... See, I want to use this docking port, but I'm not sure if these are compatible with docking ports that you'd normally find in the game, which causes a little bit of a headache. So let's go ahead and try this. We'll try this as our initial build. Now for this to work, we need to put a couple of things on here, I think. Let's go ahead and put an SAS unit right underneath here. Now this isn't going to be up there for very long, so we don't have to worry about food, water, or oxygen, which is good. I would like to put another, yes, a second Kerbal engineer, because I think we may need it. We're going to go ahead and put a second Kerbal engineer right about here. We have some lights. I like lights. Lights are good, right? You guys like lights. We all like lights. Everybody likes lights. So let's go ahead and like some lights around the outer edge. Let's go ahead and just do 4 lights on this side, 4 lights right down here. We'll just put them right down here like that. And we could probably go for, in some way or another, a spotlight. We don't have any spotlights, do we? We do have a couple of spotlights. I guess we could go with like a few spotlights. Might be a bit bright. Let's go ahead and do... Well, let's do 4. Let's do 4 spotlights. Let's do 4 lights of every kind. So we're gonna nose those in a little bit. And we can make them darker. If we turn them on, like so, we can actually make it darker by like just doing this. And it just makes it a little bit darker. Just like that. Now that goes for all 3, of course, since they're all the same set, if we tweak them on. So there's a nice little gentle light. Not super bright like it was before. Still white light, which is super helpful. So there we go. Just like that. And that way we can point them at a ship, and that ship won't glow in the dark. That's going to be how it goes. Now, you can do colored lights. I'm not in the mood... Ooh, that's not good. We can't put that there. We have to move these because if we put them there, then they can't get inside, can they? No, they cannot. I suppose we could rotate it once. Oh, okay, it won't rotate. We'd have to rotate it manually. No, that's fine. We want the door open, so we're gonna leave the door open. So we'll rotate it like that. That will be fine for us. Not too complex, not too weird. So there we go. A nice little ship. Now that's what we're going to take into orbit, hopefully, and in order to do that we need to stick an asparagus. I'm hoping we'll stick an asparagus system on there. One would hope. Do we have one built? We don't. That's so upsetting that we don't have one built. So because of that, we are going to build one. As soon as I remember where I put my head. Okay, right there. Just like that. Alright, now below that, what we're going to want is... Could we? Should we? Would we? This might actually work. Let's find out if this will work. Well, we're not going anywhere spectacular. We're not going to the moon or anything. So something as simplistic as just a quick up type system might honestly work for us. Not too hardcore a system. Let's see what Kerbal Engineer has to say. 4,135 with a thruster rate ratio of 1.86. That's not bad. That is not bad at all, honestly, with all that weight on there. Let's go ahead and strap this guy up. Just really super quick. Strap him up. And from here, we want to do what? I think we're going to put a couple of these guys on here. What do you guys think? I think this is a grand idea. I'm probably very, very wrong, but I think it's a grand idea. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of these and just do this, right? Just like that. And that gives us what? 552 with a thrust to weight ratio, excuse me. See, those are so hard to control though. What if we put a couple of these guys on here like this? And then attach these to the top. And then put these right below there. That gives us 5,140. With an initial thrust rate ratio of 1.22 at 1005. That is not bad. That is not bad. We could probably do some kind of asparagus system, but I think for a simple launch like this, that's probably not needed. So I think what we'll do is we will, of course, lock ourselves in like that. And I think this is good. I like this. This is good. If nothing else, it blows up and we have to rescue our pilot, right? Right. I hear you guys going, yeah, okay. So what we want to do is we want to ditch those, keep that. Oh, this might become a problem, though. We don't have no way to get ourselves back down, do we? That might become a bit of an issue. So let's go ahead and do this. We just want to take a couple of these little guys. Say 2 of these little guys. Just 2. Okay, we're going to flip them like that. Now they're going to go off with the garbage. Oop, they're going to go off with the garbage, but what we're going to do is we're going to stick them on like that. And we want those to be... we want them on their own stage, I think, because this right here... What rocket bit is this? I think that's this down here, isn't it? Yeah, so that's going to let it go. Once it lets it go, we can then bring the other ship back down using those thrusters, and that should be good enough. I am hoping that will be good enough. If for whatever reason it's not, we're going to have a major issue. We could also do a little bit of monopropellant, I guess, just for a little bit of safety's sakes, just for a little bit of margin of error is what I'm going for here. So we're going to do a little bit of margin of error. We're going to put two additional thrusters. So we're going to have the main thrusters which go, and then we're going to have the RCS thrusters which go. And if that's not enough to get us out of orbit, I don't know what will be. Because we're not going to take it to 70 kilometers. No, we're going to take it a little bit higher than 70 kilometers. Indeed. We're going to take it a little bit higher, because I know you guys are used to me putting it at 70 clicks, but it's actually going to go a little bit higher than 70 clicks. And I hope that works. I really wish we could do this without strapping this on here, but I think we may have to have some struts on this little guy to make him stable, because if we don't, bad things could be afoot. So let's go ahead and do four struts, please. Okay, I don't like struts. I really don't like struts because they do that. They get all gross looking, but it's gonna be the best we can do. And that way it just doesn't wobble on the way up. So it's gonna be a little ugly, but we don't have the tech to make it pretty, right? Right. Alright, so there's our ship. And we're not gonna call this the Moho, because it's not going up. We're gonna call this the Kerbal Space Adventures, the KSA. Now we've been naming them Skybin, and that's cute and all, but this doesn't need to be the Skybin. It doesn't need to be the ISS or the KSS or anything like that. Let's just go ahead and call it something very simplistic. Space Lab 1. I know, you guys are like, really? Yeah, really. Space Lab 1, because that's what it is. It's going to be a space lab. It's going to be our space lab. And who's our intrepid pilot? Oh, before we get to our intrepid pilot, let's check out what Doom got. Yeah, we completely forgot what Doom got. Doom, where'd you go, buddy? Doom, look at Doom. Doom is Dangerous EVA Ribbon, okay. Moon Orbital EVA Ribbon. Moon Orbit Ribbon. Wait. Really? Awarded for an EVA on stable orbit. Okay, EVA around stable orbit. Awarded for orbiting the moon. Okay. G-Force 6, of course. Splashdown, yay. Kerbin Surface EVA. Kerbin EVA, and Kerbin Orbit ribbon. So those are pretty basic ribbons. Those are basically go anywhere ribbons, but it's nice to know that he got them. It's nice to know that he got them. Now this looks like it's enough to get us into orbit, which is great. I'm loving that. We're going to go ahead and give it a shot, and to do that we have to head out into the outside, and of course we need to select our pilot. Super duper important to select our pilot. Let's go ahead and grab our crew, and we will close off Kerbal Engineer. And we only need one crew. We're not going to fill the seats yet. Look at all these seats we can fill, but we're not going to fill them yet. Not going to fill them yet. We need something random. Somebody random. Random. Master Prey? Master Prey, I do not believe you went with us before. Again, I have to check. Luckily, this is in alphabetical order. Master Prey has not flown before, so Master Prey is going to be our delivery guy. You know, you figured we trusted somebody who has flown before, but nope, not us. Not this time. Not now. Alright, so we're going to get this up into orbit. It's going to go into a... we're not going to do a polar orbit. We're going to do an equatorial orbit, so this is going to be a real-life actual space station. Okay, it's going to be a real-life actual space station. It's going to go up higher than 70 kilometers. It's not going to be polar orbit. It's going to be a real-life equatorial orbit, and it's going to be a great, great thing that we're going to do. So I'll see you guys out there on the launch pad. Since this is just going to be a launch, there's nothing really, we're not going anywhere, so a launch is the most important thing. So I'll see you guys out there on the launch pad when we get this thing off the ground, and hopefully Master Prey can, of course, get it up there with this experimental design we got going on here. So I'll see you guys there. Alrighty, everybody, here we are outside, and as you can see, Master Prey is ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this thing launched off the launch pad and into orbit. We're aiming for about 100 kilometers. If we don't make it, we'll go lower, and that's fine. We'll maybe push the parts out further later. We'll figure that one out as we go, but hopefully we can get this thing up there. It looks like such a concoction, doesn't it? Look so scary, but let's go ahead and go. Ooh, not a lot of thrust even at full power. That's okay. That's okay. We have a little bit of thrust, and that's good enough for a start. Now, our biggest problem here, more than anything, is this center section here, this center neckline, because that's where, if anything is going to go wrong, that is where it's going to happen. That is where the entire thing is going to break apart. It's going to start wobbling, it's going to start twisting and pushing and punching and doing all sorts of stuff, and there's a high potential chance, excuse me, that that will just roll over. Now we do have some lights on here which make it look very pretty. Look at that, so pretty. Don't need them right now, but as you can see, those big floodlights, they don't really flood that much anymore, so it makes things nice and bright, but it doesn't overstay their welcome, I guess you can say, if you want to put a nice little name on it. They don't do that thing. If you put one on and it's really bright, you put two on and it's blindingly bright, 3 or more, and it becomes so bright it's like looking into the heart of the sun. Yeah, that's no longer a problem anymore. So that's great. If you just turn them down, these are at 0.3, in case you guys are wondering, like, ooh, what level is that? 0.3. 0.3 for 4 lights isn't pretty bad, or isn't bad at all. Okay, we're about to hit and go. Okay, so that kind of worked. It wasn't super great, but it kind of worked for us. Gave us a little bit of an oomph, a little bit of a push. We have these big old tanks underneath us, which are going to push us up. Hopefully our thrust-to-rate ratio will increase as we approach the sky. We're going to start tilting over a little bit now, just because I like the idea. Ooh, big cloud cover coming up. There we go. We're going to start tilting over just a little bit now, just so we can get our apoapsis up as well as our orbital velocity. Worst comes to worst, the lifting stage is not heavy enough to bring this to where we want it to be, and we have to abort. If that happens, we will cope as best we can. I'm hoping that it doesn't, although I do see that our fuel is being eaten a lot, which is very upsetting. We do have enough fuel to get into orbit technically, but our thrust-to-rate ratio may not have been enough to compensate for the amount of weight we're using, so let's go ahead and head over. We are not heading over far enough. Let's just tilt over. We are now halfway through our fuel, and we're not even close to where we want to be, and that is upsetting. because being halfway through your fuel and not having enough of what you need to go where you need to go can cause massive amounts of issues in the long run. So let's just go. Go, 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 go. Alright, so maybe 100 kilometers was a little bit overzealous. I think maybe 70 will be the safer bet as an option. Yeah, quite possibly 70. Okay, so Master Prey may not be able. Well, he'll survive. He will survive. That's no problem. But we may not be able to get this little guy into orbit. It looks like we're off by about 1,000 or so delta V, which is really odd considering. Okay, that's 73 kilometers. Not sure how close we'll get to a full burn. Worst comes to worst, we'll at least bring Master Prey back down in one piece. The very expensive Space Lab 1, of course, will not be making it if the rest of the shuttle doesn't. Hopefully it does. How much Delta V do we have? 1,561? That should be enough. That should be enough, I hope. I think. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and just 4 times this time accelerate this. That should be enough. Barely enough, unfortunately, but enough, nonetheless, to get what we need. It just doesn't look like it. Doesn't feel like it. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I overshot our burn a little bit, and that may have been what caused that issue. Guess if nothing else, we can kind of start up early and see what we can do there. Yeah, so it looks like I was hoping to aim for over 70 kilometers, but it looks like that may not be a thing now. Okay, we're going to be at 74 here in a minute. 71, 72, 73. 14 seconds till we reach our apoapsis, so let's go ahead and start our burn. Alright, so this burn just has to get us into orbit. Everything else we can fix later, but right now we just have to get into orbit. That's all we have to do. Just enough fuel to get into orbit. Probably not enough. Maybe just enough. Come on. Come on, a little bit further. A little bit further. 74 by 76 with barely a little bit of fuel left. How much? 40? 40 units of fuel in each tank. We're going to go ahead and push this out a little bit. I wanted to reach 100,000. We're going to see if we can do that. Or, excuse me, 100,000. So we're going to do 100,000 on this side, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait until we get to the other side. We're going to go to the other side, and then when we get to the other side, we're going to push that 74 up, and we're going to see how far that gets us. So let's go ahead and roll over. Just really quick. Alright, so that was a lot closer than I was really comfortable with, but let's go ahead and roll over and stop here, and then we will go to the other side. Now that's going to be in 31 minutes, so let's go ahead and zoom. Or, no, okay, we're going to our apoapsis. Alright, so that's in 10 minutes. Okay. Right, because it's... Alright, yeah, because it's 10 minutes one way, 10 minutes the other way, or something like that. It only takes 20 minutes to go all the way around Kerbin. Super fun. Alright, and... Oop, 20 seconds. Alright, maybe a little bit closer, even though I can't talk. I can fly, I can't talk, don't know how. Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go. So just a little bit further. Push it as far as we can. Nice and gentle. 90. 100, look at that. 100, 300, yay, look at that. That is epic right there. We were at 100 by 100 kilometers, give or take a couple of meters on each side. That is not bad at all, considering how closely we cut that. I think in the future, if we're going to lift parts and pieces up to the station, we may want to do so using better components, I suppose. But for now, what we're going to do is I kind of want to leave this attached, even though it has almost no fuel in it. I don't know why. Don't know why exactly, but I kind of want to just leave this attached right now. So we're going to leave all this attached. Now what we want to do is we want to detach this little guy, the EXO. So we want to decouple node. Docking port octagonal, yeah, decouple. There we go. Now we have released ourselves from the ship, and you should be able to see a little bit of light in that gap there. Again, it's nighttime now, so of course we can't see anything. We don't have any lights, but we have detached, which is good. Now that means anything that attaches to this, well, I think it has to have the octagonal docking port. If that's the case, that's the case. That's supposed to be for more parts, so of course we're going to be like that. Maybe put a space lab there or something like that. But what we want to do now is we want to use our thrusters, and we want to go sideways, other sideways. There you go. Now that's what the thrusters are for, is just so we can go sideways, so we're no longer right up against it so that when we activate our jets, which are these little guys, and they are pointed in which direction again, now that I can't see anything? They are pointed... Let's roll the ship. They are pointed that way, we are headed that way, so that should be the exact right direction. So if we just want to point that way, like so. Yeah, no. Not until we're clear of the rocket, we do not. Because we do not want to ram that thing with this little guy. Alright, that looks pretty straight, pretty safe. Okay, so we're pretty safe right there. So let's go ahead and... nervous about this. Let's go ahead and activate. Activate. And away we go. And there's a deorbit burn down to 22 kilometers. Look at that. Totally perfect. Totally perfect deorbit. Perfect bringing up Space Lab 1. Awesome, awesome, awesome job. Great job, Master Prey. Master Prey, of course, being like, ooh, okay, I'm cool with this. You know what? Master Prey doesn't have an EVA, does he? He really should. Let's EVA Master Prey. So he's going to EVA just so he has that ability to say, I EVA'd in space. I was out there doing space stuff in space. EVAing, being awesome. Having some trouble with my RCS thrusters. You know, spinning around in circles, doing that kind of thing. Turn them back on. There you go. Grab hold. Okay, so he EVA'd. We were able to get Master Prey into the EVA. So he can have his EVA ribbon. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring up... Now, we are headed that way, which means we're going to have to spin our ship about. So spin it about like that. And we will bring ourselves down. There's the sunlight. Power is going down, but that's okay. We're okay with our power going down because we can just do this. We can just spin gently. Ooh, a little bit on the laggy side. Come on, bring it back. There it is. Spin gently, which will bring our power back up. We're at 68. Okay, we're in atmosphere now. Or not in atmosphere, but we're close enough. So let's go ahead and we will eject... Yeah, we will eject ourselves in this direction just to make sure everything goes in the right way, which is this little guy, and that means goodbye, little guy. So there goes that. Bye-bye, space junk. You will fall back to Kerbin, I hope, one day. We will turn off our SAS unit. Now we're going to run low on power because of the way our solar panels are angled, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit, just to bring ourselves down, because we want to make sure Master Prey comes down safely and in one piece. Of course, if he doesn't, we want to see that too. Not that we're sadistic or anything, but we want to make sure that everything is documented. That's right. We want to document everything so that future Kerbals will know the great strifes? Things. The turmoil that was gone through. trying to find the right word. The hilarity of exploding rockets anyway. Yeah, the bad things that can happen when you try to go into space. So many bad things can happen when you try to go into space. So we have to show that off. We have to show that to everybody because it's important that they know. Plus, if we can get some surface samples of the desert, that would be totally awesome. I don't think we're going to because we're at the southern peninsula and there goes the desert. So we're probably going to hit water again. And that's okay. If we hit water, we hit water. Wouldn't be the first time. Maybe we get out and walk him over. We'll have him go for a swim into the desert, right? That was a weird little light show over there. All right, here we go. So I don't want to cause a massive glitch with the ablative coating, so we're just going to go ahead and burn in. Yeah, we're going to completely miss the desert, I'm afraid. So close. So close. But that's okay. Master Prey doesn't mind. We're going to hit water again. It's always good to aim for water. I know that on Earth we aim for water because it's a much softer landing than hitting dirt. But with Kerbal Space Program, what does it matter? Land where you want. Land anywhere. Land on a mountain. Although I wouldn't suggest landing on a mountain because the few times I've landed on mountains, I tend to slide off. And then, you can't repack your parachute while you're, bundling down the side of a hill at 40 kilometers an hour. Okay, he's doing okay. Master Prey, pretty set, pretty stable, pretty cool. He's just like, yeah, this is all good. I'm all happy. Look at me, he's just waving at the camera. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Going pretty good, buddy. Oh, I think we lost it. It was like 28 kilometers. I think it either burned up or finally disappeared or was deleted. So close. I mean, space-wise, so close. But not quite desert. Not quite desert biome. And we're not going to worry about having Master Prey collect science, because that was not the point of this mission. The point of this mission, of course, was to deliver the Space Lab. Ooh, you know what I just realized? Space Lab has no food. It has a habitat module, it has no food. I guess we'll just have to build a food module, won't we? Or something very similar to a food module. We hope, we hope, we hope. No, we're not going to get any science out of this. There was absolutely no scientific endeavors on this flight, so I think as soon as we land, we're going to be done, because this is going to be pretty long with 2 flights, even though I'm going to cut a lot of the gunk out of them. The landings really are the ones that take the biggest chunk. And I know I keep asking you guys, I keep saying, hey, you guys, you want me to cut the landings out? You want me to cut this out? You want me to cut that out? And I know a lot of people say, well, to cut it out unless something bad happens, but in all honesty, it's like, that seems predictable. And it seems predictable to me because it's just like, oh, okay, cut the landing, that's fine, nothing bad happened. And then that one time when you see it landing, you go, oh, explosion time! And I don't really want to do that to you guys, where you see your character coming in, it's like, oh, he skipped the landing, yeah, he survived, and then that one time when you're watching yourself come down, and you're like, hey, he's not skipping the landing, oh god, I'm gonna die. Yeah, it's just not nice. It's not nice. Plus these landings are pretty epic now that we have clouds to look at and pretty things, you know, many pretty things. And the ability to fast forward time. I do love the ability to fast forward time. Look at Master Prey. He's like, yeah, I'm coming home. Yep. Happy. Oh, he's so stoked. Look at him. So stoked. Yeah! Woohoo! Such a happy little guy. He really is. He's so happy. He's like, I'm so happy to be alive right now. I'm the greatest Kerbal ever. Well, not exactly the greatest Kerbal ever, but I will say that in this season of Kerbal Space Adventures, he's pretty important because he just did put up the first module for our space station, which is great. Alright, so Master Prey has gone into orbit, and he has come back down. He put up the Space Lab 1. We got a ton of science off of the moon, where we got more stuff for more science. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at expanding Space Lab 1 and upcoming episodes, and we're going to look into getting enough equipment and, well, science, and then scientific, you know, science from equipment, so on. We're going to look into getting enough science to get the equipment to land more than one person on the moon, or maybe take a trip somewhere. I don't know. I don't know, but we need bigger rockets. We know we need bigger rockets because we can't take those big parts up on those teeny tiny LVTs. I know, I've tried. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pause here with Master Prey in the ocean. So for now, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4KB Short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program and Kerbal Space Adventures. And I will see you guys next video.